Well, it was a foggy day on Wednesday for Birchie Bay, but Beverly, Quinlan's dog Nuka, didn't seem to mind at all. Don't you just love it when the water is this calm and it really just matches the sky condition? You almost can't even see where one begins and one ends. Amanda Weldon along with you, talking through the conditions across the country. Low pressure moving its way through the Atlantic provinces, Newfoundland, rain for you. High pressure for Quebec and Ontario. That's going to keep us nice and dry and even a little bit cooler than seasonal anyways. The hot spot, that's going to be southern Manitoba and southern Saskatchewan, and low pressure for Alberta and BC. That's your Thursday. Let's talk about how the Atlantic provinces will shape up. This is where we're going to see some higher potential for rain, that's for sure. Slow moving that cold front, potential to see some storms. Burgeo, yeah, a lot of rain on the way. Well, around 50 millimeters is definitely possible throughout your Friday, and that's why we have a special rainfall warning in place. So be aware that localized flooding is definitely a possibility. You don't want to hydroplane if you are out on the roads. Give yourself some extra time because heavy downpours of rain possible at times. Throughout Thursday, we do have some fair conditions. As the system continues to move, you'll start to see some rain introduced into that forecast. And you see there, Toronto getting a little sprinkle as well, and that's not a system, it is lake effect rain. And as well throughout the week and the weekend, if you're heading out to the CNE, these are the conditions you can expect. And you see what I mean? Dry, but a little bit cool. Well, let's head out to a cool place, I think anyways, Peggy's Cove, but there's a safety factor here. Nate? Amanda Weldon and Michelle Mackey along with you. We're so glad you're here. We have some pretty cool videos to show you. Let's dive right into Montreal because Canada has been getting some active weather.
Tornado confirmed in over 300 structures.
The interesting thing about weather like this is usually you're thinking the biggest damage tornadoes, for sure, we saw that, but the wind and its power to throw things around, that's why we want you to seek shelter immediately when these things happen.
Yeah, that's why we always say when thunder roars, go indoors. Now, Thursday marks the 1-year anniversary of the LaSalle tornado in southwestern Ontario. And our very own storm hunter, Mark Robinson, was there by accident to catch it on camera. Watch this.
Well, that was quite the story, and I love that he was actually there by accident, Michelle.
I know, of all the times that he is out there chasing storms and he goes on vacation and that happens. By the way, here's where you can connect with us online: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Share your weather with us because, like you saw right off the top in Montreal, we will share your videos and it really helps add to our weather story. And speaking of the weather story,
and here it is. All right, well, we definitely have that trough in through Alberta, the ridge building in through eastern parts of the prairies. Those temperatures still really high. And that trough over Ontario, let's take a look at those temperatures. It's actually Vancouver-like temperatures in through Toronto for the rest of the week. So that's been kind of interesting.
Yeah, no, the good news is by the time we get to the weekend, more sunshine. But Thursday in the Great Lakes Basin, we are expecting some rainy conditions. And you can find out more in your local forecast. And I'll be right back with Chris May because we are breaking down the top 5 must-try foods at this year's PNE. And I'll give you a hint, bugs are involved.
So many cool opportunities in through Alberta to get outside, enjoy some trails. I always love visiting Alberta. Amanda Weldon along with you, and we are going to jump into Alberta right now because a thunderstorm risk for Thursday will be part of your weather story. Yes, isolated severe down that QE2. We're also seeing the yellowhead getting into this. Give yourself some extra time if you are heading out on the roads, and it's because of an upper low causing that instability. And the main threats: large hail, damaging winds, heavy downpours of rain. So when you're heading out, let's talk about the timing because you're going to want to give yourself some extra time for that morning drive to work. This is going to continue to track to the east. The instability there, that upper low continues to move. And for Friday, starting to become a Saskatchewan story. Do you see that? There it is. And we also have to the North Shores that could even start to touch Vancouver. Some rain moving on in. Now let's talk about the temperature pattern that's been taking place. This ridge and that high pressure, you can just see it at the bottom of my screen there. It's pumping up those higher temperatures. The most summer-like sizzling temperatures through the next couple of days will be the southern part of Saskatchewan as well as Manitoba. And then later on Friday, northwestern Ontario getting into that as well. We could see into the 30s there. Now here's a broad look at the country for Thursday. But I got to tell you, you are going to love what's coming up right now. Top 5 Live. Michelle Mackey, Chris May. You can't get more entertaining than that. This is all about the food at the PNE. Check it out. I've learned how many cool sailing opportunities there are out in the Maritimes. I gotta go. Amanda Weldon along with you. Talking through the systems for Thursday, we do have those dreary conditions out. Dreary, hard word to say. Dreary conditions out towards the Maritimes and Newfoundland. High pressure in through Ontario and Quebec, keeping us nice, cool, dry. And that low pressure system, that's going to be part of your thunderstorm story for BC and Alberta. And through tomorrow, you'll see more about that in your local forecast, of course. Conditions through Thursday, though, for Halifax, 24 degrees. So just above that seasonal mark. Toronto below, though, 21 degrees. Lake breezes playing into the potential to see some rain. Regina, going to be part of the hotspot story. Yes, the south of Saskatchewan, Manitoba, potential to get up to 30 degrees, and Vancouver 19. Let's talk about the Maritimes. Taking you to the east, that cold front continues to track to the east and bringing quite a bit of rain because it is so slow moving. We even have a rainfall warning. Now let's talk about those totals, because for Burgeo, you could see the possibility of 50 millimeters of rain throughout your Friday. So give yourself some extra time heading out on the roads, that's for sure. Could even see it through Friday morning, still lingering around Cape Breton into Nova Scotia. You're going to see some rain for sure in Nova Scotia and PEI possible for your Thursday. Conditions throughout Ontario, struggling to get into those 20s in through the north. You see that? Kapuskasing 18 degrees, Toronto 21. And it is going to be quite cool for the CNE for the next few days, but dry and no humidex in place, so pretty comfortable, I would say. Let's take it to the PNE on the west coast. Super similar conditions, but more Toronto-like in that there is quite a humidex in place, feeling like 26 on Saturday. Now, I want to show you the risk map throughout BC and Alberta, because we are going to throw it to Deb Mediechka, who's talking a little bit more about this active weather taking place tomorrow. And Deb Mediechka.
It's time now for a look at what's trending online at theweathernetwork.com. Amanda Weldon joining in. We begin this weather story stateside.
Yes, we do. We have Harvey, and that means the potential for storm surge in through Texas. This could even affect Atlantic Canada, so you're going to want to look at that story online.
Yeah, serious flooding could be catastrophic. And then, of course, we had hundreds of thousands without power on Tuesday night. 7 tips for what you need to do when the power comes back on. Now, Amanda, this next story, pretty interesting.
You remember that song, I'm Blue, Dabbity Dabbity?
Yeah,
well,
that's the one.
Some dogs in Mumbai are experiencing this, and you're going to see just why. And don't worry, disclosure, they ended up being okay.
Yeah, everything is okay, but you can find out the full story online at theweathernetwork.com. And speaking of animals, this is a pretty interesting one for you.
Yes, my dogs have allergies, and your dogs might have them too, and this is kind of a funny one about it. I'll be sneezing, and then Casey will sneeze. Michelle, it's hilarious around my house.
You can find out what to do to keep your pets nice and healthy this season online at theweathernetwork.com.